Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of This Is Recorded podcast. I'm here with a director, creator. Man, this dude's confidence, man. That's all. I'm gonna have to probably name this the confidence, man. It's just out of this world, man. Please introduce yourself to the world. Give me your socials where they can find you.
Yo, yeah, Sky Directs, the one and only, man. You can find me online, Sky Directs.
Okay. All right. So, and that's the socials as well.
Yeah, at Sky Directs. Yeah, SKY Directs with an S.
Okay, I got you. I got you. So, the soundtrack to your life, man. What was it like growing up? The music in your life, and what was played in your household, and what music did you get into on your own?
I was a cornball. I didn't really like music growing up. My mom and sisters was always playing music, and I just hated to hear music in the car for some reason. I feel like it distracted me. So when I grew up in like junior high school, I was listening to like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. I was more on the pop side. And then I went to AV. I went to the hip hop side. Yeah.
For people that don't know, man, AV and Lancaster is two different worlds. Like, as far as high schools go, like
Yeah.
Lancaster was a little bit nicer. It still has some hood dudes. Shout out to the people I know, Robin on the podcast, all those people. But AV was rough. It was really rough.
AV was rough. And what's crazy is my girl's telling me, she was like, they used to call AV African Village, and I just started laughing like, yeah, I could see that. We was running like some wild animals at school, man. It was crazy.
It's so crazy because I do remember that now that you say that, because it was like it was more a privilege to go to Lancaster, and AV was like literally wow, like out of this
Yeah,
world, man. What
yeah.
what can you say about Lancaster, man? Like in your life and like what you learned from Lancaster?
I mean, the way I grew up in Lancaster was I try to grow out of Lancaster but being in the city, I loved it because it was just like, it was ghetto. It was black people running around, going to Walmart wearing pajamas. It was just like, yo, this is like free for all. Like no one cared about anything but just running the streets. Um, I mean, it was just hood. I mean, at a time at high school, my pops, he had got me a Hummer. So I was like that kid that was like, looked like I was balling and shit. I really wasn't. I had like barely $10 for gas. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't balling. My dad just gave me an expensive car, but I was riding through the city and just enjoyed the culture of the gang banging, the culture of the WildNOut, and you know what AV is, man. If you don't know what AV is, you don't want to know what AV is. But it taught me like how to stay down in the trenches and get out. It was like the mud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. AV is like because I went to Lancaster for ninth and 10th, and then for 11th and graduated, I went to AV, and I was like, it is a world of a difference. But AV was, it gave me a chance because like Lancaster had the block schedule where you only have 3 classes a day. My attention span was not built for that at all. I got to
Right.
get my little 40 minutes in and get out, man. So shout out to AV. But since you're a director though, man, what was some of the movies like when you was growing up that really caught your eye? Like, man, I want to make something like that one day.
I wasn't even on a level of like I want to make something like that, but I was always interested in like E.T., Steven Spielberg type movies. He always I love like John Williams. He's a sound composer who makes the music for majority of Steven Spielberg movies. So I was always a fan of like the music. It was crazy because I didn't like music growing up as a kid, but I was a fan of like orchestra, like more of that type of music. So just like watching his movies and watching how it could, make you feel and how deep it was and really it was. I was a fan of like his movies, and I became a fan of like Michael Bay type action movies. Um, but I never took it. I never took it and watched it. Like, yo, I want to make movies back then until like I actually put a camera in my hands and was like, oh, okay. Um, Maybe I can do something like that and create something interesting like those guys.
Man, and that's just amazing because like that's rare where you hear somebody is like, oh, I don't really like music, but I like the composer. But I think that's just the way your brain works. Your brain works different and it sees different, and it's going successful for you right now because of what you're doing that you didn't think like everybody else. You thought your own way, man. And what I could say for you, you always had great confidence. Like I always admire like we played basketball together, and I was
Yeah.
trash, like super trash. But the thing was, is that like when I played on the street, all the confidence in the world, but getting in front of people, it like shook me up. I used to score no points. I would play defense because you ain't really on like display like that. But you would come
Right.
in to 10 points, get a ball, guys, man, just let him do his thing. And it just was like, yo, it was crazy. Like, where do you get that confidence from? Like,
I think it developed. I mean, from my father, even though he wasn't around that much in my life as a child, but his entrepreneur spirit always was around it, and his coaching and leadership was always vetted in me. Then he used to have me get up in front of stages and talk to people at a young age and talk about the business of what he put me in, and become a leader. So that kind of broke my shyness, and then I was like, yo, I got to make money. So I used to do stuff like where I sell candy. I had the school selling candy for me, as far as like certain girls in the school sell candy for me. And then I took it a step further and was on a Metrolink, and I was selling candy on a Metrolink, and you got to talk to people. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just not be afraid and just talk to people. At the end of the day, it's just people. We all bleed the same. So, I just taught myself not to be afraid to just talk in large groups.
yeah, I mean, I just always admired that about you. It's just like you could be in your own world, your own zone, and you just had this ultimate confidence. He's the ultimate hustler. I was like, I have to ask him, like, where did he get that from? It's a blessing because, like, I feel like at an older age, I'm finding my voice as far as like disagreements and stuff like that. It's like speaking up for yourself and like, oh, I
Right.
don't like this and I'm not going for that. But like for you, you always had that confidence at such a young age. Is so commendable that you have that in that hustle spirit. I think that's amazing, man.
Yeah, got to start early. It's kind of difficult to start it late, especially nowadays where we live in this world now. But like, it got to start early. So I kind of enforce it with my own two boys I got. But my dad, he pretty much put that hustle energy into my heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, that Hummer. It was like, man, see, it's like faking it till you make. Cause we thought, like, man, he got it on his own, probably, cause he always into something. We nobody knew, like, oh, he ain't had no money to put it in. Nobody knew that.
Yeah,
Like, yo, he got it, man, for real. Yeah,
yeah.
it was amazing, man. So, what was like the first project you worked on that you was like, I think I could do this. I think I'm gonna really put some time and effort and 10,000 hours into this.
Yeah.
What was that first
Um,
thing?
it was working with Nick Cannon. Like in high school, I got an opportunity. A friend of the family named Big Dave, I hit him up and was like, "Yo, I got this camera. I'm trying to get into the game, and I know you working with Nick Cannon. Can you see if you can hook something up?" And he had called me like a year later and was like, "Yo, Nick's doing this WildNOut season 2, and you could come down and be a part of it. Bring your camera." I'm like, "Oh, for sure, bet." So I get down in LA at the Relapse Studios, and I got my camera. He didn't really give me no instructions. He just said, "Just come." So I'm kind of walking around like not knowing what I could do, but I guess I have full range, do whatever I wanted to do. And I ended up running up to Nick Cannon's hairstylist, Anthony Cherry. And he was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I don't even know. I'm just here with a camera about to see what's up." He was like, "Well, shit, film me." And pretty much Anthony Cherry kind of created this show on the set, was like, I want you to film me. I'm gonna interview the guest speakers or the guest stars that's coming on the show. So we was interviewing like Pretty Ricky, Lil Duval, like everybody that came on the show. And I was filming him, and that became my position. And then I go back home, edit it, throw it up on YouTube. And then like 2 days later, Nick found about it. He was like, "Yo," he had his assistant Danielle reach out to me and was like, "Yo, who's this cat filming behind the scenes on YouTube? What's going on?" And I thought I was in trouble, but Danielle was like, "Yo, Nick want to meet you." I was like, "All right, bet." So I went back up there, and I met up with him. And he was, just trying to figure me out, and then he loved the energy of the hustle and the fact that I just was doing it. You know what I'm saying? So he took me under his wings, and once he gave me, that confidence of like, "Yo, man, it's an open court for you. Do what you want." That's when I kind of was like, "Yo, this is what I want to do. I want to get into this film world, and I don't know what I'm gonna do in it. I don't know if it's gonna be movies. I wasn't even thinking on that high scale, but I was like, I want to do filming, like whatever that looks like. And that was like my start.
Man, that's an amazing story, and like networking and just having people and just getting that shot, man. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right place, right time. You never know. Like that Kanye documentary is amazing because it's like hey, I'm gonna follow him with a camera. And it's like you were almost on that, like, hey, I'm just gonna come show up and I'm gonna just try something. And it leads you to these different opportunities. What opportunities did you get from doing that? I'm sure a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't even, what's crazy was the Nick Cannon was, I became like his personal videographer for like 2 years. And then I was at what is it called? House of Blues on Hollywood Boulevard, I believe. And I had the camera there. And I was just like that kid with a big ass camera because I had the Canon XL2, and back then it was like this big, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just a little ass dude walking around with this big ass camera looking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is this kid? So I was on House of Blues, and I was just maneuvering around, getting my networks and my connections up. So I got invited to attend the I think it was Pretty Ricky and B2K performance. And they new manager Kuda Love was there, and he had his driver assistant reach out to me and was like, "Yo, what's up? What you do?" I was like, "Man, I'm a videographer, Nick Cannon. This is, this is what I do." So they got my number, and he called me like the next day, was like, my man's Kuda Love want to meet you. I didn't know who he was at the time, but he was like, I want to talk to you about this TV show. So I was like, bet. Pull up to Beverly Hills at this mansion. And this was my first, like, pretty much my first kind of like job outside of Nick Cannon. And then they was like, yo, we want, B2K is breaking up, and the boys want to create a reality show. We just want you to follow them around and make something out of it. So I'm like, all right, bet. Now I didn't get paid nothing at all to do this. And I still lived in Lancaster. These boys was in Beverly Hills. So
That's
every day
a
I
dream.
would drive, and they give me like 40, $50 for gas to get back home and back forth. And my mom would be like, yo, what are you doing this for? Like, stop, go get a job. I'm like, look, mom, this ain't easy, but I'm gonna continue to do this. And every day I'll go out, film them, and then I go back home and edit. And then I edit and throw it up on YouTube without their permission. I was just kind of just freestyling my same little method I did with Nick. And them boys got like 500,000 views back then. And word got around, and Warner Bros. Want to pick up the show. So they was like, yo, Warner Brothers want to pick up this show. We want you to continue to film. And they had me, like, that was my pay. Like, I finally got paid like 3,500 a week to start filming the boys at the B2K boys. And I called the show The Life After B2K, so they kept the name. And that was like my first network or my first like big opportunity outside of Nick that led, into another opportunity.
Man, so that is just, these stories are amazing, man. So how did you learn how to edit? How did you teach yourself? Because it was the beginning of YouTube. It was the beginning of, like you said, you had a big old camera and stuff. What type of things did you do for somebody trying to get in? They have more tools now, but what did you
Right.
do back then to like help you learn how to edit and learn how to shoot and what lighting and what settings? What did you do?
It really started back in AV. I mean, if I didn't go to AV, I don't know if I would have be where I'm at today. But my sister was taking this film class by this teacher named Mr. Wehunt, and I was running around doing my own thing, not paying attention. She was like, "Yo, you should take this film class." I'm like, "For what?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm busy selling candy, making money, son. What are you talking about?" You know, and she was like, "No, you really should take it." So I ended up taking the class, and then I'm like, "Man, this is boring." I'm like, I don't, because I'm not like, I can't focus with words. Like I gotta be active visually. You know what I'm saying? So my teacher was like, Mr. Wehan was like, "Yo, I'm gonna give you the camera. You go out, do your own thing, and then and just stay in it, just try it out." So I was like, "Bet, I'm gonna do that." So he gave me the camera, and this is where African Village really played a role, because I was out there filming all the high school fights at lunchtime. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, this is fun. And I'll throw the Cassidy. So I'll go back, I'll film at lunchtime, film the fight, all the fights, all them big riots and stuff. And I go back after lunch to class, and I take like a Cassidy beat and put it up. I edit it, and I cut up the scenes and stuff and put the music up. And I go back like the next day and show them, all the cats that was fighting, like, look, they was loving it. So I was like, dang, this is actually a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? And then that kind of caught my interest. And then from there, I was like, Mr. Wehunt allowed me to just really do whatever I wanted. Like, there was a real thing going on in class, and there was Sky going on with his own shit, to the side.
Yeah.
And I filmed my first music video at school, where I used the Hummer. I used the school as my platform pretty much. I brought my Hummer up in the lunch and filmed a Usher music video and stuff, and go back and edit it. And what's the crazy thing about when you asked me about how to learn how to edit, I learned how to edit by way of teaching myself. And back then, Final Cut is what I edit on. It used to delete. And when it deleted all my work that day, I would get frustrated. I'd be like, dang, but if I really want to do this, I got to keep figuring it out. So I'm telling you, my project got deleted about 10, 20 times, but it just kept, but I something about it where I loved it so much, I just kept doing it. So it didn't matter to me. And that's what taught me how to edit. That's what taught me in school. AV taught me how to film and edit. And that's, where it's really started from.
And man, it's so amazing. Like when you say that, because I tell my wife, I tell somebody, like, it really used to be riots. Like, I don't think you understand. No, like really, like 10 people over here, 15 people over here. If you get caught by yourself, yeah. And it was like from the jails, like Black and Mexican riots, man. It was like so crazy to be at both schools. So when you say that, it's like people are gonna listen to this and be like, yo, Reg was really telling the truth. Like it was really riots for real. Like it was wild. Wow.
It was wild. I loved it though. It was my energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was just like, but you was a happy dude. Like you ain't bother nobody. So it's just like me and you was the same way. It's like we're not in the midst of it, but it's just like, hey, we watching, because it's kind of entertaining for a young kid, man. But AV was, boy, it was wild. And like for shout out to that teacher. And that's the thing about these low income schools or a school that would be considered African villages, that like it's somebody that can see something in you and like, hey, just try this. Cause you're like, okay, well, maybe you don't like reading and doing all this stuff because it's boring. So let's give them something else. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to Mr. Wee Hunt, and shout out to all those teachers trying to make a difference. Man, my father-in-law, Phil Stark, man, he tries, man, to help these younger, kids that's in the ghettos or in these rough neighborhoods, man. Like it's important, man. And I know you'll do the same thing for somebody. If you see potential in them, like they gotta really show it. Like you, and also not giving up, not quitting, because today, like if somebody put a video up and don't get 1 million views out the gate, they gonna quit. But for you, it's like my joint get deleted every night, and I still want to do it because it's interesting. So it's something about that perseverance that's great.
Yeah, it's those life challenges that everybody gets faced with, no matter like what business, career, or life, position you in. Everybody gets faced with those type of moments of like where it's just you against the world, and you got to make a decision to either move forward on doing what you believe in or whatever that is, or just call it quits at this point. It's like the mud phase, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to figure out how to get out the mud if you really believe in what you got going on. And at that time, it wasn't a career option for me. It was more of a like, I wasn't looking at like, this is what I want to do in life. This was more just like what I enjoy doing. And I was like, damn, if I enjoy it so much, I ain't gonna trip too much about this edit. And man, I got faced with that making this movie Run Nixon, where I was writing a script. And if you write something on Mac in a guest account, 24 hours later it gets deleted, and I didn't know this. And I wrote the whole script, 80 pages on the notes, and it got deleted. And I called Apple and I was like, what's going on? It was like, yep, that's what happens with guests, and there's nothing they could do. So I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, if you imagine writing, like, I'm not even a writer. I didn't believe in myself enough to be a writer. But when I wrote that, I was, I feel accomplished. But it brought me back to high school when I was at that same time. I was like, damn, if you know what I'm saying, if you remember back then, like, it kind of ain't got no choice if you really want to do this. Like, ain't nobody gonna come knock on your door with a script. So what you want to do? So I had to, suck it up and go back to the drawing board and rewrite the whole script. But yeah, those challenges really can take you down and put you into that blank space if you don't, move on it. You know what I'm saying?
Really and truly, man. Now, Run Nixon, could you give us a little taste of what it's about and what you working on? When can we expect it? These things like that, tell us.
Sure.
I see you got the hat, Run Nixon. We
I
get
got the merch, man, the Run Nixon merch. You know what I'm saying? I'm Run Nixon all the way up, man. I even got a Run Nixon backpack, man. I ain't playing no games.
Yes, sir. And that's Fizz right there, right?
Yeah, that's Fizz. Yeah, that's Fizz. Yep.
Little Fizz for ladies and gentlemen.
BTK.
BTK. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Now, is that a connection from? Did he remember you from when you were shooting?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
So Run
So,
Nixon, man, can you tell us a little bit about it, sneak peek?
yeah, so Run Nixon is about a boy with a bad heart, and he gets rushed to the hospitals, and the parents got to figure out how to pay for his heart transplant. So the mom, she works at a strip club, and this guy named Slice, which is the brother of the strip club, comes in there with a duffel bag of money, and she overhears a conversation. And when the doctor says she has to pay for the surgery, and the dad and the mom don't got the insurance to cover it, she's kind of thinking like, she's thinking of a plot where she can rob this, take this money, steal this money from the strip club. So she actually does that on one side, and she tells the other side, which is the dad, that she doesn't. Yeah, that she pays the insurance covered it. So she lies about it. But the guy that she took the money from goes to jail, so she thinks she's free and clear. He comes back out 2 years later, and he's looking for his shit, and he finds out she takes it. So he takes her son hostage for the money. And now the dad got 24 hours to come up with the money or figure out how to get his son back before it's too late.
Wow, man. And where can we see this at when you finish with it?
I mean, I'm gonna do everything I can to possibly do a theatrical release. Netflix is the main top of the food chain where I definitely want to get it on. Already got talks of like Hulu and the other type of platforms, but definitely Netflix is the goal.
Man, the ultimate hustle, man. Can't wait to see it, man. Because it's amazing. I think I've seen on your page a little preview, if I
Yeah,
remember, because I've seen Fizz in it, but I don't know if that was something else that you.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that so I mean, the Run Nixon story is crazy. How even behind the scenes of how like I made the movie, and I was damn near homeless, and I had to go. Me and my family had to go move in. My wife and my two kids had to go move in with my dad. We lost everything, so we had to go back to ground zero, and that's where I wrote the script at my dad's house in my little sister's room with a blow up bed. Like that's where it really started from, was a blow up bed. And long story short, like I had, after I wrote it, I went to go try to raise the money for it, and I had a lot of people that was interested in it, and it was like create a trailer. So that's where I had sold my car, went to LA, and I filmed in 2 days the trailer that you see on the Instagram right now. And I edited, created it, made it look like it was like a full scope movie, but it was really like 10 pages is what we had filmed. That's all I could afford. And people, they seem like they loved it. If you go through the comments, like 2,000 comments, they all said they loved it. And I didn't have the money yet. Even they asked me, this is what they want me to do, and go create a trailer and whatever. I created a trailer, got a fan base, the whole 9 yards, and still didn't get the money for it for that year. So I kind of gave up until I moved to Vegas during the pandemic and was like, man, I got to figure out how to make that movie back in. I met up with this dude named Brian Cooper, who's one of the producers on the film, and he kind of got me back in the trenches. And we went to go location scout without the money, but we were location scout, and we just started putting together. And I ran into the investor, the first investor, which is Stephen Liu, who put up 30K for the movie, and he owns the strip club, which is where we filmed the movie at. But he believed in me and the project so much, he was like, man, I'm gonna put up the money. And then finally, I got Kuda Love, which is old manager from B2K. He
Yeah.
put up the rest of the money, and then I put up. I had actually bought a Bentley for a low price, sold that Bentley, and I put up the rest of the money. So we made Run Nixon, and now literally we in the middle of finishing up the edit and then getting ready for the film festival. So it's like one of those movies that's just like one of them blood, sweat, and tears got put into it, and it's been a long journey coming. But I think this is gonna be like my first like official like big movie for the world.
And man, and that perseverance and that confidence, like this whole podcast is about confidence, because it's like I don't know how you just, like, it's just with you has always been a light. I think for a lot of people they can't figure, they like, does he get money, does he do this, does, like, what does he do? But what nobody can never go is that confidence. Is like, yo, what is, like, how do you keep yourself up? Like, it seemed like you never get too down.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're speaking of that Kanye West documentary. Like, I feel like I was born with a gift. I mean, I got a tech background, I got an entrepreneurship background. I could write, produce, direct, edit, film, network. I got so much to give to the world where I feel like I can't just become like a regular person who goes to work at Target, and not to down some, the employees that work at Target and regular jobs, but I just got too much to give to the world where it's like, you know, it doesn't make sense for me to just quit and just become a regular daily. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that type of mind thought for me keeps me always going until I make it in. And I'm the type that's never happy. You know what I'm saying? So even when I do make it, like when I made this movie, everybody's congratulating and they're celebrating and they like, cool, you finally made it. And I feel like I still ain't complete. Like, even though I made it and it was a mission to get the money, I never thought I was gonna be able to make it because all the little downfalls. But after making it, I'm already on the next page. You know, I'm already working on the next script, the next film, and like that movie's already damn near level 1 for me. You know, I'm already on level 3. But you know, I don't know what it is. I just feel like, you know, just so much shit I got to do in this world, and for this world, it's like, you know, it just keeps me always on track and always going.
Yeah, and what about like that betting on yourself too, of like selling your stuff or moving back home, doing what you got to do, but still like having that belief in yourself? And because I feel like a lot of people, like it's like the next step is right there. It's just you got to show me that you're willing to jump, and I'll give you the parachute. But most of us, we not willing to take that jump. We don't want to quit that job. We don't want to sell this thing we attached to. What is it about you that like you could bet on yourself? Like,
Man, that's the thing too. A lot of people probably won't make it because they're afraid to bet on themselves and take that jump. But to me, I'm like so into myself and what I believe I can do and the shit that I could create. I know it's way better sauce than what's out there. I take that as like my first step, and then I look at my peers who's doing it, and I'm like, yo, like my man said, Hassani, he has a movie on Hulu called Takeout Girl. And at the time, I had the Bentley, and I had no movie, no investors, and I was like, damn, what's more important to me? You know what I'm saying? For me to be chilling on the couch having a Bentley outside, or for me to have a movie on Hulu? Like, what do I really want? So I was like, man, fuck the Bentley, and that was a big goal for me, is to get a Bentley. Like, I always wanted one in high school, but after I got it, I was like, man, fuck the Bentley. I'm bigger than the Bentley. So you know, I did whatever it took. I got on a mission just to sell whatever, because I know what I could do. You know, just a level of, you know, I'm $1 billion type of person, and the only thing that's stopping me is me, and that's with anybody. The only thing that's stopping you is you. If you can't wake up today and start on what you got in your head, what you created, or what you dreamed about, it's not gonna happen. Ain't no one knocking on no doors nowadays and just giving you a opportunity. Like, you got to do whatever it takes to make it in. I think the key thing is being consistent. If you're not consistent at whatever it is, you never will make it. Bottom line, you never will make it. So that's just the first step. Just be consistent.
and I really think that consistency is it. Cause even like that's why people love Nipsey Hussle so much, is because it's like they seen when he was lower level and they see him just elevate,
Yeah,
elevate, elevate. He just kept getting higher and higher, even to the point I was talking to my cousin Duke, and I was like, damn man, like his last couple raps that came out after he died, you could tell lyrically he was going to a whole nother zone. But
yeah,
it's sad because it's like we didn't get to see the full potential of it because he passed. But like lyrically, you know, fuck rap, I'm a street legend. I was born in the C section. Like, you like, damn, like who thought of that like that? That don't
yeah.
even sound 5 years ago, 10 years, that he didn't rap like that. It was just like West Coast hardcore rap. I'm a crib, I'm from shit like. But then when he's elevating and stuff like that and saying, putting words together, still being true to himself, but learning how to manipulate the words to his will, it was amazing. And it's just like consistency. I think consistency is knocking at the door until somebody answers. That's how I'm gonna sum it up, man. You gotta stay consistent, man, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, because if you're not, and I look at, you know, if anybody can just look at their surroundings and say, damn, who's consistent at whatever it is and what type of results they get from it, then that's kind of where you can kind of gain belief, because a lot of people got to see it to believe it. So one of my boys, Christian, he owns a custom rap shop, and my man's came over to my house and did my rims and started from a very small level. And now, I mean, he got 2 Lamborghinis, a 10,000 square foot warehouse. He's doing all the custom, but I seen him consistent from like 4 years ago, start from like the bottom, like that Nipsey Hussle effect, from like the ground floor all the way up to just building a team to get in his warehouse and getting everything that he wanted. I was like, if he had side veered and did like, you know, rims and then maybe sold cars and then cut hair and then, was trying to be a rapper and you know what I'm saying, trying to do so much, it distracts you. It's like you got to be consistent at one main thing, whatever that is. And that's what's going to take you to, the next level and open up the doors for whatever, you're trying to do. And I learned that too for myself. It's like, I can focus in on one thing and target that until it gets done. I can take an idea in my head and make it become reality, which is like how about the Bentley. And no matter how long it takes, but as long as I'm, on track onto that, being consistent onto making it happen, it's going to happen no matter what. It's just a matter of time when it does happen.
Now, at that point in your life, what were you doing to get the Bentley? Because I seen you at one point on Sway in the Morning, back when the hover rounds was like really a big thing. So
yeah, like
around that
like
time.
the I got the Bentley on a year ago, and I bought the Bentley because I had created this software called IG Mass DMs. Like I said, I got a tech background, and I created a software pretty much that does like mass DMs. And I had got some clients where I made about like 20, 30 grand off of the software. And I used that money. So my money was going down, and I was like, damn, I don't want to make this money and not make it make sense. So I pretty much made an investment into a Bentley where I made sure I got it lowered in the value. And then it was like I had to fix it up a little bit to make it dope. And that's what I did. I invested into it. And then, it became a literally sitting asset for me at the time of whenever I needed it, it was going to make sense for me to utilize it. And that just was one of the smart investments I did.
Oh, in which ways were you using it?
I use it for the movie.
Oh yeah, for Run Nixon.
Yeah, from Run Nixon. So that's why I was saying I was sitting on the couch. I was watching my man's movie on Hulu, and I was asking myself, I was like, damn, I got a Bentley outside, but I don't got no movie on Hulu. I was like, what do I want more? It's like one or the other. You got to make a decision. Well, for me, because I didn't have money where I could like have a Bentley and that like I feel like God always puts me at these workout phases where it's like, yo, you got to really go in the gym to get bigger. It's like I'm not about to just give you the money for the Bentley and the money for the movie. And what's crazy is I had the investor for the movie. I had two, but I still needed about 30 grand to finish it, and which is what the value of the asset of my car was. And I had to make that executive decision. Was like, damn, I filmed this much movie, but I need 30K more to finish the rest of the movie. What do I do? Ain't nobody else come to my door giving me this money. So that's why I said I'm gonna sell this car, because that's what I believe more in is the movie and me and everybody who's involved in it, than that damn car outside.
Yeah, man. And what's so important too is that you have a family and you're raising it, a beautiful family. What kind of things do you like to instill in your kids about confidence and like just as they go through life and they grow and they face those obstacles? What do you try to put in them?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just like start early. Start early, because once I tell my son all the time, you don't want to be 20, 25 trying to figure it out like that. At that point, especially 10 to 15 years from now, like the world is going to be different. Like gas is $6 a gallon now. You don't want to be 20, 25 trying to figure it out. Start early, start developing that mindset now to start creating, testing different things and figuring out what you like, but implement it as a business versus just like a hobby. And just I speak a lot of business words around my son, and make sure he understands the math and numbers, and just everything with business is numbers. So I really focus on the numbers, the business, the dedication, the determination. I make sure my kids understand to know what I do, so they can see like, okay, my father does this and this is what he does. And they can, I tell them like, yo, I started from ground zero with the movie. They've been through everything up and down with us, but I paint the picture. I don't hide it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or they see, I explain to them what's going on when we had the downs, the middles, and the ups, so that they can understand this is what it looks like as an entrepreneur versus someone that has to go work for somebody. So they get it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's so important that you showing them all aspects. Cause I think with the hustlers and the people that live free and free thinkers and create art is that it's highs and it's lows and
Yeah.
there's middles and there's
Yeah.
everything. But and it's also good to expose them to a lot and just be honest with them as much as their little brains can handle right now, just be honest to a certain extent and just let them know. And it's important for them to be exposed and give them that freedom to whatever they want to do. Like, to know, hey, dad got you. Like, I'm backing you, whatever you want to do. Let's do it together. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. Like my son, he has this clothing line called Battle Anime, and that's basically where he took like Dragon Ball Z versus all the anime characters like Naruto, and he put them in a t-shirt, so they got like this it's like a Street Fighter setting where you got battle anime versus like a Naruto character. So that's one of his companies that he developed. So yeah, it's just about like getting them acclimated with the business mindset at an early age, so they don't got to figure out at my age.
Wow, man. It now is this like is merch or is it like a gaming thing or
It's merch, yeah. So right now it's like shirts, beanies, hats.
okay? Is there any way we could get it? Can you give the people the information so
Oh
they
yeah, battleanime.com.
okay, battleanime.com.
Yeah.
Everybody go get that, man. That is important, man. So what's some movies that what's the last movie you watched that really like intrigued you and like had your brain like that was interesting or that was good or just something you like? What's the last good movie?
Um, Last good movie, cause see, I'm like an old head. I really don't watch. I watch these new movies to figure out what I like about them and see where they're going with them. So I can stay current. But I really ain't watched. I really haven't watched a new movie that really caught my attention. Like, yo, this is one of my favorite movies.
What
I
was
like.
one of your favorites, I guess, or what's of any genre or
Yeah,
any
yeah. I mean, I like movies like Catch Me If You Can. Um,
that is a very underrated movie.
yeah,
People
yeah. I'm
don't
more. I'm
talk
more on
about
the.
it a lot.
Yeah, I'm more on them type of like mission related type of movies. You know what I'm saying? Things like The Founder, about the McDonald founder. Like I like those type of like motivated pursuit of happiness type of movies. Those are my type of movies, something that can inspire me to keep me going. Like when I watched the Kanye West documentary, I was like, yo, that I can see the similar traits of me and Kanye West, what we got as far as staying motivated, staying hungry, and staying like uh, consistent on what we trying to get accomplished. So
Yeah.
anything on that type of level, like if I could be the one to create, because I'm a biopic type of director, I would do a Kanye West movie. I really want to do a Diddy movie, because that boy right there is a legend at what he created. If it wasn't for Diddy, we wouldn't have like all the famous singers that we got. But you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
those are my type of movies.
And him and you, that mentality is like he is just like the greatest. I remember he told a story about he was trying to pitch something to Russell Simmons, and Russell
Uh,
Simmons was big on treadmills and working out and all of that. And he was like, I'll let you do it if you could keep up with me. And Diddy said he damn near fell off of it because he was like, I'm not gonna quit. I want it so bad. Like he would go and run to go get some coffee for somebody and run back. He would do
yeah,
anything back in them days, man. He was just like, but he was also super confident. So somebody when he was in Uptown Records, Andre Harrell fired him, but he always paid him. But he fired him because he knew Puff like mine was too big for where he was at, and these
yeah,
people didn't understand him in these corporate settings. So he fired him, but he always paid him, and then that gave him the drive to create Bad Boy Records, and he was around all the great minds, and he was around the industry. But his drive, just like yours, like y'all would connect and do very well because he just doesn't give up. And even like the music, he hasn't really been doing much in music the past 10, 15 years, but Ciroc, but Revolt,
exactly.
this, that, like he
Yeah,
knows how to keep going, man. He just puts a vision in his head and he don't stop. Have you ever seen that clip when he was talking and he was like, I want to get my video on TRL. Can you please bump me up to number one, please? And he like hung up the phone and was like, I'm a
well,
savage.
I'm a savage.
Yeah, man. That
Savage. Give me anything. Yeah,
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 that drive, man, is just like it's amazing, man. And like the biopics and stuff, like, and I think we live in that era right now, realism. Like people want to know the real story, not the fabricated, not what I heard. They want to know the highs, the lows, the ups and downs. So I think the lane you going in is a great lane for sure.
yeah. Nah, yeah, it is. On biopics, I mean, the Run Nixon is a part biopic of my uncle who passed away. About he had heart failure and he passed away from a heart failure. So it's fictional, non-fictional, but I really like the true story type movies. I'm working on some big movies right after this one, so the biopics would definitely be my lane. I'm like the new John Singleton in this game. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you that John Singleton old flavor with a touch of like that Steven Spielberg, type of movie.
I love that. I love that, man, because like John Singleton meant so much to the culture. Steven Spielberg means a lot to a lot of people as far as big movies goes.
Yeah,
So if you could find that perfect balance and be you,
yeah,
yeah, that'll be like, yo, he's
yeah.
the next one, man. So in the future, like what other genres that people might be surprised that you might want to work in, or type of movie you might want to do?
I didn't think I was gonna be a horror type of director. Until it kept dawning on me. My man Sonny, he wrote a horror film called "What Are You Afraid Of" about like 3 years ago, and he pitched it to me, and I finally got it financed. And that's the next movie we're working on. And I was like, I never thought I'd be like a horror director until I was thinking like, if I want to do something that's gonna be a box office, and be like a timeless piece, I know I gotta center it around a holiday, and the holidays everybody really likes is Halloween and Christmas. So I was like, horror wouldn't be bad if it has like that old 80s vibe in a small town, small city, and it's just got that creepy feel. I'd definitely be interested if I could do something on that level. So when this movie came around, I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna do that for this movie and make it where it's going to be like a Universal Pictures where they could turn this into becoming like a What Are You Afraid Of roller coaster ride, or a horror theme at Halloween Horror Night. So I feel like this is probably like that genre I didn't think I was going to venture into until I start really thinking of the bigger picture of like how big I can make this become.
Man, I love the Halloween series. The Halloween series is great because it's like it's not overacting, it's not underacting, it's just perfect. Like he gets to the point. Michael Myers does not talk. He does his little stat slasher thing and gets in and gets out. But I definitely want to see a great black film, or something like that from a
Right.
black director, man. And I think you can do it. I think you can
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I love, like, for example, like I did like Get Out. Jordan Peele's doing his thing with his taking that lane of that horror lane right now, especially being a black filmmaker and actor, producer. But I was like, man, let me take it and add a little bit different sauce to it. Let me add that. Let's just see what would it look like if um Steven Spielberg and John Singleton got together and did a horror movie. Like, what would that look like? So if I could take like that grungy side of like the hood and like like that culture side and mix it with the not the white side, but just more of like that Steven Spielberg or that ET vibe or that Jurassic Park vibe, and combine it to, man, that could be a big picture. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, man. That could be amazing. Like, it's so crazy because the thing about it is that everybody think you nuts until it works. Everybody think like, well, why do you do this or why do you try that? Or, and that's why you gotta protect your dream and protect your goals, and you can't share it with everybody because even the people closest to you, they
yeah,
won't get it.
they don't get it.
You
Yeah,
just gotta like go for it, man. How do you like
yeah.
protect your mind from that negative energy? Like, hey, I can't even like pay attention to that, or I don't tell everybody my plans. What do you do when you like got a plan and you don't really want to hear it from certain people? Or do you have some people where you try to run it by them and see what they think?
Man, that'd be the thing. I think I had a conversation with this with myself because I got like some employees in my head, where we had meetings and shit. And I was like, yo, sometimes it's not good to tell your ideas to people because it's at that point you trying to look for I mean, you could rely on their opinions, but their opinions really don't mean nothing because they haven't executed what you got in your head, and what's in your head is meant for you to actually create and put out, whether it's good or bad. And I think I told my son this earlier. Was like, don't create stuff for other people what they like, because they're gonna change it, and it's never gonna be perfect because you might make it for this person, but that person don't like it. Now, when they say they don't like it, you down and you feel like it sucks. Just make it for what you like and how you like it, and just do it on what you believe. And I think that's what how I treat myself is like, I just, you know, because I know the level is definitely past that industry standard level of whatever I'm gonna create and do is gonna be on that next level. So that level's already far. If I achieve it, I can make it, I could do it. It's gonna be good enough for the world, even better. Like the movie I made with Run Nixon, you assume we had a budget of probably about like 2.5 million. We filmed 23 locations, had over 100 actors, got action scenes, car scenes, fight scenes, blow up scenes. I mean, Run Nixon's impactful with just like so much stuff. You know, the budget was under 60K, but you assume like the budget was like 2 million. So it's like, if I told people, when I did tell people about like making this movie at that budget, you know, they said it's not going to work. There's no way in the world you're going to be able to make this script for that amount of money. And I did it. So it's like, what's the purpose of telling people when at the end of the day, they opinion, they thoughts don't even matter. What matters is what you believe in and how you know, if you really believe it, if it is what it is. And that's the bottom line. So for me, I might consult a little bit with my wife about, you know, certain things before I get into it. But my father taught me this. He was like, try to go to the end result or whatever you want to create and just see what that looks like mentally. And if you could kind of paint the steps of how to get there, then just be proactive and make it happen.
Man, and that's just so important. And what you said, like, it's so important. I felt you completely when you said you had meetings with yourself and your own employees in your head, because you really, everybody needs to create that for themselves. Like, hey, let me get this pep talk. This my guy over here. He gonna get me motivated. This my guy. He gonna keep it real. And this my guy when I just want to have fun, man. So it's like, hey, we gonna have a meeting. We gonna have some quiet time, and we gonna figure this thing out. Because, like you said, like nobody, like if somebody told you, like, hey, I got this. I'm gonna create it. I'm gonna put all these things on it, and I'm gonna call it Apple or iPhone. You be like, yo,
Crazy.
what is this dude? Like, is he smoking crack? Like, yo, you gonna call it a fruit? You gonna call a phone a fruit?
Yeah, that don't even
And
sound right.
it's gonna do all these cool things and all that. What do I need a flashlight for on my phone? Why do I need that?
Right.
Why do I
Yeah.
need these things? So it's like he could have been like, yo, you right. You right. I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it. You right. But if you have the pep talk with yourself, like you go to your boy in your head, like, yo, that shit is tight, bro. Like that shit, you should go with it. Then you gonna win because like everybody thinks it's crazy until it works.
Until it works.
Works. Like that is. I love that you said that. I love that you said that.
Yeah, nobody believes nothing until you know everyone is cheering for it and seeing it actually there. It's just that's crazy about the world. Like 99% of the world is kind of lost in the sauce until you know that 1% actually develops whatever it is for the 99%. So it's like I know I'm on that 1% level. So it's like there's no purpose for me to be looking for spectators on the 99 when at the end of the day, as soon as you create it, there's a market for everything. I mean, if you look around at my room and your room, all these products, everything was literally created from an idea. So if someone didn't create that Crenshaw t-shirt or Nipsey didn't create that Crenshaw t-shirt, you would never have it. So there's no purpose to think about what anybody got to think. Just create it.
Yeah, because people gonna be like, yo, you gonna take the logo from like Crenshaw High School? Like, that's corny, bro. Like, no, actually it's genius. And I'm about to take this thing to a whole nother level.
Another level, man.
His mind with like, and then giving people opportunity. He would meet a guy that gonna develop this technology. He was making it interactive to a store in the hood where if you come and take your phone and scan something, it could show you everything he's about to work on. You could download his music and pay for it. You could do. His mind was so far gone, but all these people probably was like, nah, don't do it. So man, for you and that confidence and for your brain, it's like that's why, because you know already. It's like with them ideas, you got to protect it sometimes, because then you got to be willing to look at the person you love the most in the face and they completely disagree with you and you completely disagree with them, but you love them regardless. You can't hold grudges. You know, you can't be like, yo, no, I remember when you said that. It's like, nah, bro, God bless. Glad you like it. And but you can remember it, but you can't be bitter and you can't be mad. Like I tell family that all the time, like, bro, when you make it to that level, don't shit on nobody. Just shake their hand. And that's gonna be the coldest shit ever. That's gonna be like slapping them in the face, like, hey, you know, God bless you. You didn't believe in me, but it's okay. But you don't say it. You let your work do the talking for yourself.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a man. We could talk for hours, man. But I guess just the last thing for you, well, one of the last things, uh, for that person that's creating and down on themselves and like, you know, is about to move back home or do something like you did, man. what can you say to them? What motivation can you give them to keep going in whatever it is they're doing?
I mean, like for me, it was like it's obviously a time for you know, whoever you believe in, if it's God or whoever you believe in, for them to say, like, you know, you got to look at what you going through. You know, not saying anyone's doing anything bad at that moment or why they got pushed back down to ground zero, but it's just like you got to look at really how did you get there, what caused that effect, and to really open up your mind to take better actions on your movements, your judgment. I mean, you know, for me, it was a financial issue where I was spending more money trying to look like I was living that life versus actually putting, you know, investing into what I really believed in. So that was my life learning lesson, which I had, you know, handle my finances better. But then at the same time, it was like, what was I doing that I really should have been doing, but I wasn't doing? I was like, damn, I wasn't really doing what I really love to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like for me, God put me through a lot of different ups and downs and challenges, having a lot of money to having no money to having this and having that. And it's like, you know, at the end of the day, once the fog is clear, like what is that real? What am I really here on earth to really do? So I think them times, if anybody experiencing the worst times, is really, it's an eye opener for you just to really look around, whether it's someone next to you that might be stopping you, that you hanging out with every day and you bullshitting with every day. It's like, you know, that's why you're there. And you got to open your eyes and really look at, you know, the real shit that's really going on, or why you in that position, and ask yourself, like, you know, what's the real goal? Why am I really on earth? What am I really, you know, here to do? What I really love in and want to spend that time with and be consistent in. And then once you kind of figure that out, it's like, then it's like you got to really take action and take them steps and just take a simple pen and paper and just write it down. Step one, where, you know, write the goal, the end goal, and what is it going to take to get there. It's really simple, man. It's like, and I feel like people complicate things and overthink it, where it's like whether they got a big idea or a big dream, it's too far fetched. It's like, it's really not. It's just being consistent and then just taking those little steps. You know, it's like if you got to wake up and put on clothes, it's like that's what you got to do. Wake up, take a shower, get dressed, put on your clothes, and then do your next step. But then people stop right there. Then the whole rest of the day be bullshit for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you really got to take your life on as a journey, and create these different missions. And that's what I like to do for myself. It's always like I'd rather spend less time bullshitting and more time focusing on the mission and the goal, and blocking out a lot of people. That's what it really takes, man. I block out a lot of people. I don't really take phone calls for nobody because I'm very dedicated and focused. And people even know that. Like if you call my phone and I didn't answer, it says, yo, this guy directs, I'm working on my movie Run Nixon. I got it playing in the background. So you know exactly what's going on. Like I'm focused. So that's the biggest thing, is like people gotta, like once you fall ground zero, it's like it's just you. No matter what, it's just you at the end of the day. I got someone on set that went homeless from, you know, not working with me, but he lost everything, and he had a girl, and I was like, no matter what, bro, it's you got to figure out you got to get you focused and what you trying to do in life, and God puts everybody in certain positions. You got to open up your eyes and really pay attention and figure out how to move forward.
Man, I believe that, man. And what we do when we get out of here, man, we speak it to existence.
Yeah.
This time next year, Sky's Direct, man. What's gonna be going on in your life this time next year?
What are we in, May? No, this April or March. So this time, so it's already kind of set in stone. Like I'm finishing up Run Nixon right now. I'll be filming What Are You Afraid Of in 2 months from now. So I'll have both movies ready to go for the film festivals, which is next year. So I'll be going to like the Canes, Tribeca, ABF, which is American Black Film Festival, Sundance, which is in Utah, in around this time. So the goal is to get 2 of these movies done before September this year, get them in submission to the film festivals for next year, and then next year be at all the film festivals, winning all the awards, getting all the, you know, the praise that was greatly worked for, and then just working on the next bigger picture. I got an app coming out called Let's Film It, which is a casting app. I believe that's going to be real big because right now there's no solid casting app to use, and I'll be using it for myself and for my own movies to launch it. So that will be next year. That should be a big app that everybody should be using to do their castings for, to find new great talent. So movies, tech, just helping out, you know, young creators like myself, get them in position so they can create, do what they love, open up a big studio in Hollywood, and keep cranking out these movies, doing these big ass deals with these streaming platforms.
Man, and this is recorded.